as we're getting into this matchup. If this is still the same USMC that just has a plethora of FPS experience here, if it is the same player, he is obviously a big sort of DPS player to sort of look out for there. As we get into this one, just taking a quick look at the lineups here. It looks pretty standard, nothing too out there. What do you think, Smite?
We saw Route 66 earlier today, right? And we saw, I believe it was Okami Wolf player try to go for the dive composition to get on top of that dino while still moving the payload. They didn't succeed in that, so they fell back and went for a death ball composition. You can see the same thing coming out from Monopoly Club here. They are looking to get that dive. They don't have a Winston though, so instead it's just going to be Micro jumping up there while they have a big strong composition on the payload. Look for that biotic grenade to hit on the roof, and then Micro can put out enough distraction. Signed will be looking for the picks at the start, but again, like, have a look at the defense lineup, right? That's a big death ball comp. They've got double hit scan as well. They've got the damage to pick someone down if anyone moves out of position.
And here we go. We are getting underway right now as the team do move up towards the payload. Going to be looking to get quite a few players around this corner here. Just do a little bit of chip damage up on the hill. Micro actually falling almost to half HP there. Luckily manages to keep himself alive. Still not too much action here. It looks like we are going to be getting a dive in pretty soon, I would say.
Yeah.
As Micro again just finding a couple of headshots there, looking for a bit of chip damage, and here he goes. Oh, nice little reflect there, finding a fair bit of damage, but it does give quite a bit of charge to the Zarya.
But this is the time that they need to jump down. They can't just allow them to push the payload like this. Yes Men need to go in. They need to either just jump in straight away or find a pick. They can't find a pick, so they're going in.
The Dog Frog is super low right now. Adam does get taken down there as well, but two of the Yes Men players are down there in Senverse and Switch. Huwu dropping extremely low right now on that Zarya. Molotov does go down as well. 4 players down on the Yes Men side.
But the key thing is the payload still moving? Even if this is a fight lost, which I really don't believe it is with the respawn advantage coming out from Monopoly Club, they've still moved the payload quite far. They've got it up to that second corner there. One more one-team fight, and they'll definitely get it out to the end, get it to the checkpoint. The thing is, the respawns, have a look at all the players that are still dead. If Monopoly Club can continue to move this payload, then it's definitely going to make it to the checkpoint, and Yes Men are not going to get a second team fight. However, if Switch and Senverse can contest the payload for long enough for their teammates to come back and come in, they're not going to have any ultimates yet though, is the big thing, right? But they can contest it for long enough and try and hold at this first checkpoint for a second fight.
And I mean, you mentioned that there, but I feel like it's going to be very, very hard for Switch and Senverse to hold this one out. They're obviously only having the Reinhardt and that Lucio left there. I feel like the Roadhog there will not easily, but should be able to find a pick there on either of these two heroes. With the damage of the Genji being there, I think that this is looking very, very good for Monopoly Club.
And again, right, they're still going to get their reinforcements quicker because they've got the closer respawn. They can get there nice and quickly enough. And I feel like it's still an awkward situation because both teams are sitting there with many members dead, right? But they can definitely make it in, get back. I feel like they've just got to use that respawn advantage. If you're Monopoly Club, use that respawn advantage, rush the point. You've got to get there as quickly as you can, because if you can, on the back of this, just snowball off a team fight as Switch and Senverse are trying to contest the payload for their teammates to come back in, if you can pick those guys off, you're moving into a snowball for the second checkpoint, and that's just the potential to just take it way too far. We're going to see if they can do it.
And here comes the unpause right now, and as I mentioned, they are too far away, and they don't even want to contest Micro and Signed here on the point, and they are going to hit checkpoint number 1.
This is good though by Yes Men. They recognize that they can't take the fight. They can't risk having Switch and Senverse fall down. And like I said, that would commit a snowball for Monopoly Club. So again, taking the safe attack here. Now with only one ultimate on the table right now, I feel like Yes Men will want to engage as early as they can so that even if they do lose the team fight, they do get a second fight for sure well at the back. The key thing is though to not move into the fight until the payload has moved past that guaranteed movement that it's going to go through.
And ultimates are looking quite even right here at the moment. Oh, and that hook very, very close there by Signed. Does drop down to half HP there. There was a bit of a battle there going on the inner house, but no one actually drops there. Both teams managing to stay alive. And just taking a look, and here comes the Graviton Surge. He's going to pick up so many right now. Oh my goodness, this is looking amazing for Yes Men, but that big Biotic Grenade manages to keep many of the players alive.
A strong defensive Biotic Grenade, like you said, kept them all alive, and that's a big ultimate committed by Monopoly Club. And now we're seeing the same aggression that we saw previously. Yes Men are moving in. They're pushing up against the payload. They took that early fight so that they've got the safety net. And again, they committed one ultimate, built up the rest of the team's ultimates, and even though that's a strong line line of ultimates ready for Monopoly Club. They definitely have enough tools to move in defensively. They just need to get switched up to that
look at
sound
Monopoly
barrier.
Club get started now, and here comes the Dragon Blade. Micro not finding too much damage with this one. Actually, he's getting kited. This is not going to be very good, and Huru does manage to take him down there. That's beautiful stuff from the Yes Men squad. I'm absolutely loving that one there to stop the Dragon Blade. Big Earth Shatter around the back there, picks up 3. Oh, USMC gets blown off the face of the planet, and this is great for Monopoly Club as they clean up the rest of these.
And this is such a long, protracted fight, right? As it continues on, they're just going to delay the respawns even further. And Monopoly Club's, Yes Men's early fight is maybe not even going to buy them a second fight. It's going to be people trickling in, trying to contest this payload. They only have an Earth Shatter to go, and it's got to go massive.
And they are going to have to commit to this one. Here comes the Graviton, but the counter Earth Shatter, it is not as good as we expected. Does manage to pick up one, but it's not just enough right here.
Oh, this is bad because now they've committed ultimates. They've basically given away the checkpoint for free, but they're still contesting. They're throwing bodies in, just generating ultimate charge for Yes Men. Now Yes Men are going to go in. There's been a bit of a delay on the deaths there, so they're going to get it probably to the first corner here. But again, they still committed a few ultimates for that. They forced Yes Men to throw out a few ultimates, and if you're going to go in and contest it at the last second, you do need to try and get those sorts of trades because now they're in the driver's seat. They've got the respawn advantage because third checkpoint is notoriously difficult for teams to assault on just because of how close it is for Yes Men right now to come in with the respawns. Again, they're going to be looking at perhaps an ultimate disadvantage as a few of those are going to be charging up right now for Monopoly Club. But again, look for the combo on Micro and the Nano Boost.
There's the sound barrier from the Lucio. Both of these players, all this team going to be charged up right there as they move in. Great hook there, but an awesome shield from the Zarya to keep him alive. USMC dropping very low. Gob does get taken down. Look at that Graviton surge there, picking up at least 3 of them. Even trades on both sides, but I'd say this is obviously going to be in the defender's favor, Smite.
Yeah, because, I mean, they do have the respawn advantage. I talked about that before. Micro committed the Dragon Blade, but didn't throw on a Nano Boost. That's only a single ultimate used. Monopoly Club, I feel, are going to be happy with how that went. They're getting cart distance as well, and even though there's going to be a stream of defenders coming out, look at how far they've made it already. If they can get this final checkpoint with all of those ultimates that they still have, then they're just going to cap it and have almost 3 minutes time bank. Look at how much time they have.
And there come the ultis, and as you mentioned, they managed to save so many from that. I thought it was looking good for the defending team, but Monopoly Club, beautiful ulti holds right there, but good damage there from Yes to keep the lads alive there. 97 damage done to that.
But he can't get to the payload, and that's all that matters at the end, right? You could have contested it, maybe bought a few extra seconds, but in the end, a brilliant offense coming up from Monopoly Club. And again, we're always going to bring it back to that term, that ultimate efficiency, the ultimate economy, and I feel like Monopoly Club played that out very well, especially in the final fight at the corner, right as they get into the third checkpoint, right? They move into that, they see the sound barrier come out, and they commit a single ultimate, and that's Micro on his Dragon Blade. They can move in, mow down a few kills, and they still got distance on the cart then, and then they had so many ultimates to just clean up the rest of the checkpoint.
And I mean, just to see a team obviously finish the attack is already a victory in itself, but I mean, look at the time they've got in the bank there, 3 minutes and 2 seconds. What a great time put up there by Monopoly Club. Yes Men are definitely going to have their work cut out for them. Give us a quick look here. We do see the Winston coming out there on Senverse. How do you feel about this?
I like this a lot because it allows you to have the double dive composition because you've got the obviously the Winston, like you just mentioned on Senverse, but also Genji allows you to get in and disrupt the guys on the roof long enough to force them off. And they're actually going for a bit of a double flank there as well with USMC. We've talked this guy up, right? He's a great DPS player, has a bit of flexibility, can be on the Roadhog sometimes too, but just the fact that they're going to be up there disrupting the team while you've got Huwu with 2 healers sitting on him on the payload, he's going to be pretty happy with that. Yes Men are definitely going to be stoked with that composition. So if they can get that set up good and disrupt the roof and force them down onto the payload, Huwu should clean up.
I really do like that as well, and I hope USMC does stay on this tracer. I think we're probably going to see him move around that right-hand side there, try to go for a really sneaky flank, probably try to surprise Monopoly Club. This is the only way I feel like it's going to work out in their favor. If they do catch a sound or a noise of the tracer there, I think they should be able to react. And the other thing to note there as well, obviously, they have gone with the Roadhog there on the defense. I feel like that's going to be key
They're running a triple tank lineup, which is, I feel like, a little bit risky going into Huwu, because Huwu is going to get so much ult charge from those big hitboxes, right? If they can break the Reinhardt shield, then immediately that's just free charge for Huwu, especially if he has to jump down onto the payload. Now, expect to see them move it up to this first corner and just dive straight onto the roof. And the key thing to look at is how far the payload moves during the fight. And look, they're already moving back away.
This is what I was talking about from USMC, being very, very careful right now. And as they go in, there's the Winston you talked about, this dive comp they've got, and it's working very, very well for them, splitting them up. But as I say that, Adam takes down the Genji there. He goes up, but Senverse back on the roof. They need to start finding some kills here, though, because if they can't actually finish off any of these players, it's going to be very, very hard for them to obviously get that card around the first corner.
Not the greatest first fight at all for Yes Men, but I think they can be a little bit happy with that. They got the payload a fair amount of distance up past towards the checkpoint, but again, Monopoly Club is sitting nice and tight on the top, because again, despite the triple tank making it great for Huwu to get charged, it's very hard to dive onto. They just don't die.
Oh, and there's Senverse again jumping in. USMC trying to get that flank in there, but Senverse gets absolutely annihilated there. Look at this work here from the Dog Frog. Great Ana plays here, hitting those very, very clutch heals, and awesome stuff to keep the rest of the team alive.
Micro has gone down, who was one of the main DPSs, right? But they're still cleaning up. But again, I feel like Yes Men, they may need to take a different approach right now, because the dive composition, it's not doing any damage to these tanks. If they are going to dive, they need to get even further into the backline, take down the Dog Frog, take down graphics, so that the healing isn't as effective. Again, that's really risky, because you're sending 2, maybe 3 people into basically their deaths. You need to get the payload moving, but again, at least they've got ultimates coming up. Yes, though, isn't going to have the nano boost just yet. It's going to be about whether they save that for the next fight, or if they're looking for a more guaranteed team fight win on another fight. But again, that's losing so much time, and with the amount of time
there's that Graviton onto the roof. Not too many players caught in that. The Dragon Blade being committed to it as well. The Tracer still has that Pulse Bomb in hand as well. And Mao Molotov does have that nano boost up as well, just in time. But oh my goodness, Monopoly Club still haven't dropped.
But the payload's moving. The payload's moving. They have to get onto it and actually contest. And now finally they're dropping down.
And they are going to be committing to that payload, trying to stop it from coming in. USMC now trying to find some damage here, actually coming in with a kill, and that's going to be 2 now players taken down from the side of Monopoly Club. This is the moment here for Yes Men.
This is still messy for Yes Men, because they are having members fall down, and now finally the death ball of Monopoly Club can jump down onto the payload. Again, it was still moving during that fight, so I like the plays coming up from Yes Men, but they still committed a Dragon Blade to that. So again, what have they got to combo with that? Maybe USMC? Oh, wait, never mind. They've got Huwu. Obviously, Nano Boost is going onto Huwu. So they can move into this fight with that good combo. Huwu doesn't need his ultimate to go big. So again, they can just do the same thing, distract them up on the roof, and then move the payload sneakily, because it's hard to take a big fight here.
Oh, and there's that counter Graviton surge there. This is going to be Monopoly Club cleaning up right now. This Yes is not going to be able to make it away from this one as well. And another reset there in favor of Monopoly Club.
One thing to take note of, though, is that Adam used the only ultimate they had left. Gob is close to its Earth Shatter, so if Yes Men have been tracking the enemy ultimates correctly, they just know that that's all they really need to worry about for now. They've got to keep Sen versus Barrier up as well as possible right now. They've got many good combos, either Nano Boost Huwu or Nano Boost the Dragon Blade.
And with 40 seconds left here, this is going to have to be it for them here. I don't think they're going to be able to find themselves another fight, as this one's being dragged out far too long already, so this is going to be it for them, and there's the Dragon Blade coming in from Yes. Oh, he annihilates the Dog Frog instantly. Micro goes down there as well. Genji doing great work here. Sign, though, finds that hook onto Senverse and takes him down there as well. USMC, though, finds himself the counter hook there onto Gob, and with these 3 players left standing, can Yes clean them up? It's going to be very, very important, or will these guys be able to hold this one out?
Slowly but surely, they're going to clean it up, but this first checkpoint's going to go into overtime. Of course, they're going to get more time at the next checkpoint. Never mind, they're actually coming in for the contest. Are they cleaning it up?
Oh, and Micro is actually doing so much damage right now. They are going to be able to do this. The Dog Frog gets taken down, but that doesn't matter. It's going to be Gob versus Senverse. Battle of the Hammers right now. Who's going to be coming out on top of this one? But he does have Micro in the background here, doing so much damage on that 76.
But look at how much time they're buying. The team for Monopoly Club can come in and start contesting again. Look at how close the payload is to the end of the checkpoint. That's a big run back for the attackers.
Oh, Monopoly Club, I love the commitment right here, and they are going to do it. They are going to take it. They're not even going to let Yes Men get to the first point, and that's going to be it.
What an absolutely stunning offense coming out from Monopoly Club there, taking it all the way to the end of the 3rd checkpoint, getting 3 minutes time bank, and then just defending it on the first point. We talked a lot about Yes Men and about how they can bring in Huwu and how he's a real big player to watch out for. I honestly was not very impressed by that game right there by ES-Men, honestly. But at the same time, you've got to give credit to Monopoly Club, who just hit the ball right out of the park.
And I mean, what we talked about before with, teams coming through these qualifiers, building up some of that momentum, that's going to be working very, very well there for Monopoly Club. Obviously, great defense, and I love that they committed to the point 1 there. Obviously, most teams would be like, okay, let's be smart, let's just wait, we'll hold them on point 2 there. But great stuff to obviously commit to point 1, say, no, this is our map, we're taking this one home, we're gonna take it 3-0.